we started before the failover from one region to another region. Okay, so during the discovery phase, okay, or during the discover phase, there are a lot of different tools that are available, but most of the organizations, they are using a tool called Cloudscape, which is a very good tool to understand the different systems, understand how they interconnect, what are the dependencies, which server talks to which server at the port level, what are the different ports and protocols involved. So all these things. Okay, so this is a tool from Risk Network. Okay, Risk Network's Cloudscape tool. And there is another tool called Cloud Mapper. This is a tool from Science Logic. And there are tools like Atadata. There are tools like CloudAmize. There are hundreds of tools which are available, which you can do, which you can use for discovering the information. So when I say discover, you will go and discover the information about what are the different systems running, what are their configuration information, what are their IP addresses, the infra network, the storage, the processes that are there, what are the different processes that are running on the system, what are the different ports that are involved, which server to which server communication is happening, interdependencies, and so on. So all these information will be gathered during the discover phase. And when you move on to the next assessment phase, there are some tools which can be used during the discover and assessment phase together. But if you are talking about Microsoft workloads, if your current environment, if your current data center is full of Microsoft flavored environment like Microsoft OS and Microsoft .NET application and database, you can definitely use the MAPS toolkit. MAPS is Microsoft Assessment and Planning Toolkit. So this is something which you can use, Planning Service Toolkit. Or else you can also use, if you're talking about specifically migrate, you can also use Azure Migrate tool, which is a native discovery and assessment tool. You can also use CloudAmize, which is again, it can be used for discovery as well as for assessment. You can also use tools from Current Technology. You can use tools like Device42. There are hundreds and hundreds of tools available, okay? Flexera, Lakeside, there are many. Okay, so for example, why I'm listing these many tools, different tools provide you different speciality. For example, if you are doing a server migration, or if you are doing a kind of virtual desktop migration, these tools can be very powerful. So if you want to migrate from on-premises desktop technology to cloud desktop technology, then Lakeside can give you a very good level of assessment and discovery information. If you are moving from server to on cloud server, then the Current Tech, CloudAmize, Device42, these things can give you a lot of analytics or assessment information. So these are all very good tools for different workload. So today, I mean, this week or the coming week, we'll be discussing on different migrations. So when we come to migration phase, we have different things to migrate. All right, we need to migrate server, we need to migrate application, we have database to migrate, we have virtual desktops to migrate, we have different workload that we need to migrate, right? So not all the tools listed above can cover all of them. See, for example, if you're talking about database assessment or database migration, then the tool that we generally use is different. See, for example, there are some couple of tools which we use like Cloud Pilot and Unify Cloud. These are all very powerful tool for doing database level assessment or database level discovery. Definitely the Azure Migrate or Azure Native tool will be very powerful. So which comprises of two different segment, database migration assessment and database migration service. There are two different sub tools within Azure Migrate. Even there are some third-party tools also like Cloud Pilot and Unify Cloud. So for specific workload, we have specific assessment tool and migration tool. So whatever I'm listing here, it's more focused towards server, but there are other tools also. See, for example, if you want to do a virtual desktop migration, as I told you, the Lakeside is a very good tool, right? That's what I told you before. And there are other tools also. Okay, so maybe some companies will use Systrack, some companies might use other tools. So for specific workload category, you can use different migration. And any idea, like when you want to migrate data, what are the tools available? When you want to migrate data or storage content, what are the tools that we generally use? Any idea? Have we
We
discussed anything on?
do from the storage backend side.
Correct. Yeah, you can use
Snap
Azure
data
Data
or
Box. Yeah, no, Azure Data
oh,
Box
okay.
or Azure Data Box or Azure Data Disk or Data Box
Data
Edge
disk.
or Azure CLI, or you can use PowerShell, or you also use what is that? The command line tools for migration, the storage CLI tool, right? So there are many tools. Storage Explorer can also be used. When Azure Migrate can also be used. So there are variety of tools. Okay, so when you want to migrate data, even you can use backup tool to kind of take backup and store it in the cloud. So there are variety of tools available for migrating the data. So we have already discussed about this during the storage class, right? So we will be highly focusing on this server migration shortly. So whatever we did using the site recovery, that is also kind of server migration. We migrated one server from East US region to West US, but we'll be doing it from AWS cloud to Azure cloud and so on in the next Saturday class. But for now, also we'll be discussing database migration in the next weekend. Okay, apps migration we'll see next to next week. Okay, not next week. Next to next week we'll be seeing the apps migration, or I think we have Active Directory scheduled for next to next weekend. Maybe after a couple of weeks we'll also see how to migrate the web apps or how to migrate the application level. Okay, so next week we'll be focusing on servers and database migration, and that will be from AWS to Azure. Okay, so we'll have one server created in AWS, and we'll see how to migrate from Azure, migrate to Azure platform. Similarly, we'll have database hosted on on-prem or any one platform, and we'll be migrating it to Azure platform. We'll see these kind of migrations later. But what I'm trying to cover here is there are a lot of different tools available for different phases or different stuff. So for planning, okay, you can either use your own company's migration dashboard, or a lot of organizations, they have their own workload assessment and migration engine toolkits. Okay, there are different organizations, they prepare their own planning tool. Okay, they might also use some kind of Jira for migrating the workload. There are different tools that different organization uses. Okay, so Jira is becoming very popular with the agile approach for even the migration. But there are, I mean, even Azure Migrate can be used for planning as well. Okay, Azure Migrate is the collection of tools. It's like not one tool. Azure Migrate is a portfolio with multiple products within it. Okay, it comprises of data migration tools. It comprises of server migration tools, database, all these things. Okay, it is a combination of multiple tools. Okay, but if you are a person who is really interested in how discovery and assessment, all these things are done, maybe I'll give you the link where you can go and attend a couple of days, 2 hours day session. I think not even 2 hours, it's 1 hour session. So if you go to Device 42 webinar, okay, this is a very popular session that is happening. Okay, every Wednesday and Thursday they will be giving a session, free session. Okay, you can attend this training. Okay, for discovery and assessment. If you go here, events. See, they have got different tools, infrastructure discovery, a lot of different tool sets are there. But let me see. So integration with Jira is for planning. Okay, so storage discovery, they have expanded like anything. Okay, let me check quickly. Visited this page twice. Okay, looks like they have given it as a recorded session now. Earlier, they used to give a kind of live session on Wednesday and Thursday. Maybe I'll check if I get the link, I'll give you. Okay, this will help you to understand how to do a discovery, dependency analysis, and how to do assessment. This is the best tool in the market now, Device 42. It gives you complete level of storage discovery, licensing discovery, IP address discovery, certificate discovery. It gives you a lot of features. They have a lot of tool sets to help you with migrations and so on, even transformation, even getting you a complete CMDB listing. It gives you live dashboard about your current environment. So this tool is very popular now, and many organizations are using it for discovery and assessments. Even I have listed it here. It is one of the tools that is listed, but there are other tools which also provide similar functionalities. But this is a partner tool. Okay, whatever I'm listing here, these are all Microsoft partner tool set. These are all authorized tool to use along with your Azure migration. Okay, if you have discovered the data using these things, you can directly bring that data to Azure Migrate tool. Okay, these are all partner tools which are authorized to perform the discovery and assessment. And during the migration, there comes the challenge actually. See, migration, you cannot use the same tool. Device 42 is only for discovery and assessment. But if you want to migrate the Windows server or Linux server, then you need to use either the Carbonite, or you need to use the Rackware, or you can use the Zerto tool, or you can use River Meadow. I think some of you might have heard some of these tools. So you can also use Quorant technology. So these are all the tools that are partner tools from migration standpoint. If you want to migrate the workload from on-premises to cloud or one cloud to another cloud, you can use these tools like Carbonite, Zerto, Rackware, River Meadow. So these are all authorized partner tools from Microsoft for migration purpose. These are all authorized Microsoft partner tools for performing an discovery and assessment and all those things. So there are some certain tools which can help you do end-to-end. For example, Quorant technology is present in discovery, assessment, and even on the migration phase. Okay, so there are some tools which can help you with complete end-to-end visibility. But what we will do is we will use Azure Migrate, that is the complete portfolio tool for doing discovery, analysis, migration, and so on. I'll show you how to do all these things using the Azure Migrate tool, but there are some third-party tools also which we can use for performing all these things. And later, after the migration, like how to optimize, how to secure, and all those things. Those are all using the native technology, using Azure platform, how to do encryption, how to configure backup, all these things, right? So that's the final step: optimize, manage, and secure. So there is no specific tool needed, but you have to do it on the solution itself. For example, if you're talking about virtual machine, you need to go and configure backup, you need to configure proper sizing on the instance size and all those things. So that is the way you go and do it. You need to configure encryption and so on. So for this particular purpose, it is a stabilization phase after migration. So for each of these pre-migration and migration, you have some specific tool set that can be used. Okay. So these are the different tool sets that we have.